Guys, what's up? What's happening? Welcome in. We are live for the recap of the Browns 34-10 loss in Detroit that I would say feels pretty similar to the week 2 game in Baltimore against two Super Bowl contenders. And, I don't know, Brad. It's a situation where they play with them for most of the game, keep themselves around, make too many mistakes, hand away possessions, hand away points. At halftime, they had given away 10 points. They were down 20-7, had handed away 10 points at that point of the game. They do a pretty similar thing in the second half where a punt return gets housed to make it 27-10. It's basically over at that point, early fourth quarter. And they do, they do it again and give away another turnover late on a strip sack. So you'll look at the stats, we'll look at the numbers. They're not that much different from each other as far as how they operated on third down, total yardage, yards per play. Not very different. The difference in the game is that the Browns turned the football over 3 times and allowed a special teams home run play. Does that sound familiar to week 2? I think it does sound pretty familiar to week 2. So, I mean, I don't know, Brad. That's where we're at. They've played 2 games that I think they've given, and really 3. They gave the game to Cincinnati as well.
Oh,
handed them 2 interceptions, handed them a missed short kick. I don't know, man. That's the crux of it. The defense is still playing well enough, keeping them in games. The offense had better moments in this game, some moments, but continues to hand the football to the other team. In there, so we're talking the 3 losses, they've handed the football over 2 or more times, right? 2 interceptions week 1, considering a short kick to be a turnover that you miss, essentially, right? Giving away 3 points, letting them have the football. Week 2, couple interceptions in that game. Obviously, you have the blocked punt, which set up the first Ravens touchdown. That's 3 turnovers in theory. And today, where you're throwing 2 interceptions in critical moments, as far as portions of the field, deep in your own territory, is what I'm getting at, which set up a field goal. I think a field goal and a touchdown. So the last one being another touchdown. So you're talking about 17 points directly off turnovers. And you also allowed them to walk into the end zone on a punt return with nobody around him. I don't even know if he got touched, Brad. Maybe touched as he worked through the first cut he had to make. But that's it.
So even,
it's just giving football games away, man. So that's it. I don't really. That's my open. That's what they're doing. That's what they've done. Like I said, you look at the yardage, you look at the general feel you have of the game, and you're like, that kind of felt really competitive, but also they're handing away possessions, they're handing away huge plays. That's the extent, Brad.
Yeah, they were playing with them in a manner that could have kept the game competitive to the end. Had they not done what we always talk about and beat themselves. And, we talk about the blueprint over and over, but this is once again very, very much the opposite. You cannot get away with this stuff. And, the Flacco interceptions were critical. The first one, I don't know what that was. Does he expect Tillman to be a stop and go? Or
I'm sure he's answering that right now. I think sometimes when you're running certain concepts, if you get a down corner, sometimes you will say, hey man, convert the hitch to a takeoff. Well, and there's a myriad of things you can do inside of that. Hey, we're going to run a back shoulder read throw that we can run off that. We're going to run a back, a stop hitch at the sticks, right? Or you can have them just converting, like the simplistic thing teams do is just convert down corners. You convert to outside release takeoffs. I mean, that ball from Flacco was a moon ball. It didn't even look like the type of throw that you would make on a converted go route. It just, nothing about it looked normal. And I think that there are some plays that Flacco didn't get the help. The second interception he threw where Jeudy just falls.
That's what I was just going to bring up now.
That's a concept play where you're throwing it before the break. Judy's coming out of the break. He should be coming back to the football, falls down. He's on the ground, kind of like, similar to his Cincinnati interceptions in a way where it's pretty miraculous that the corner finds his way to get to that football still, despite the wide receiver falling down. But yeah, that's the second one I don't put on him. What did he throw 2 today? But the first one was so bizarre. Like it was just a throw it up scenario. And that's one thing that with Joe, if I'm concerned, and I'm sort of very calculated with replace the quarterback, all these other things that get very hasty in these moments. But what Joe is doing to avoid like his level of panic when he knows he's going to get hit is an uncomfortable level right now. He's making some really dicey choices.
Yep.
When he knows he's going to get hit. I will rewatch that first interception from all 22 and see, and also try to see the interaction Joe has with Tillman after the game, after the play. He's probably talking about it. I'd imagine a good reporter would bring up that exact topic because it's like what happened, what happened on that is an interesting story. But yeah, man, I don't know. That was
so that
yeah. Go ahead.
That play, and then Jeudy. I see in the chat here, I saying he was pushed down. He's got to be stronger. He's got to be.
You got to
play
through contact, man. It's man-to-man coverage. Got to play through contact. You can get held and stay on your feet, and the ball is incomplete. You can't go down. You can't fall down.
Can't fall down. He's always on the ground. The Browns receivers are always on the ground. Tillman's on the ground all the time. He's falling an awful lot. I don't know what it is, but doesn't it seem like their guys are always falling down or on the ground?
Yeah.
Is something I've just noticed over a few weeks, and I don't understand why that is
so
much. I don't know if they're getting out physicaled or what, but Jeudy misses that. Now they're still in the game. They should be out of the game, but they're still in the game. It's 20-10 when he drops the pass that basically should have been a touchdown, right? Corner falls down in front of him to Jeudy from Flacco, throw over the top, and he just flat out drops it, right? He would have gone in there to make it 20-17 at that point.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. I'm not. I gotta go back and look at it, but
it's right after that I believe, if I have it written down correctly, it was right after that the kick return came. So, I could be wrong in that order. Either way, that drop was brutal because the guy had fallen down. If he just brings that in, I think he's taken it the distance. I don't see anybody. There's nobody behind him.
Mm-hmm.
They just are not. We talk about part of the blueprint is being opportunistic. When things happen and you are, being paid $17 million a year to be this team's best wide receiver, you've got to catch that ball. I don't care. There's no reason to drop that. He drops way too many. Jeudy's he's kind of a mess right now.
It's not playing well enough, right? It's not consistently playing well enough. It was a similar slow start for him last year until Jameis took over, and then he started to play a little better toward like the quarter season mark, and maybe even a little bit later. He started to get hotter and more consistent. But no, he's not playing well enough. Cedric Tillman leaves because of an injury again, and that's been the story of his career. Fair or unfair, it has been the story of his career. We'll see what comes of it. Hamstring issue, right? But that part of it's rough. The good part was Isaiah Bond had some really nice moments.
Yeah.
You can see where he's still a rookie and trying to figure it out long term here, and what like every nuance of the positions are going to ask of him to do. There's rookie stuff happening here, but there's enough positive that you like, all right, well, let's see if we can get more out of him at this point. I mean, yeah, Judy's going to keep playing. They've paid him. He's going to play this year and next year. he's got to be better for them. He's got to be better. He's never been a physical ball winner, but he can't be bullied around the field by man coverage teams. And at times that's happening to him. And yeah, just point blank, he's not playing well enough. But that's the message here to me, is like, we came into this year saying this is going to be a bad team. We thought it was going to be, I mean, no sane person was saying this is a 10-win team. I feel really great. You could say like, hey, if I squint at the schedule and things break right and some stuff can happen here, like this could be a 12, or excuse me, like a 9-10-win team. That though, what I'm getting at is that wasn't the norm. That wasn't what everybody expected, right? They should be 2-2 right now, right? You can say whatever you want to say about the Green Bay game, and maybe 1-3 is the spot they're supposed to be. But as high side outcomes, they could be 2-2. I think that's sort of what we would expect for where this team is on roster build, what the quarterback situation looks like, and the like, right? This is a bad game. Take yourself back 7 days ago and how good you felt after what they did to win the Green Bay game. And there's, a range of emotions that come with both of those outcomes, where that game wasn't probably as good as we thought it was, and this game wasn't as bad as we thought it was. So because the middle ground of all this, Brad, is that they're giving the football away too much. We talked on the Game Day pod coming in.
Incredible. It
was a non-negotiable thing, especially in road environments, that you cannot hand the football to the other team in this game. And if they were to win it, and I firmly believe they could have won it, if they put Jared Goff, who was not very good today, in more predictable pass situations, had that team's offense out on the field more in trailing the scoreboard situations, they probably had a real chance to win that game. But they give the football away 3 times, and I consider the fourth 4 true turnovers when you allow the other team to return a punt for a touchdown. So this is the formula that they have got going right now. This is it. They're giving the football away at a high rate. They're not taking it away at a high rate. That's, there's obviously gray area to that because the defense is doing so many good things getting off the field. And I consider like a 4th down stop. They had a couple of those. Those are actually turnovers you're creating. But my point is, they have to stop. I don't know, man. They have to stop beating themselves. They haven't really had a team take a game from them. They handed the game to Cincinnati. They handed the outcome to Baltimore, and Baltimore still might have won, but it should have been something, 20-17 or significantly closer to a 17-14 type game. And the same, situation in this one where it's 20-10. You take those, it should have been a 10-7 halftime score. You come out, you tie it at 10, and who knows where it goes from here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's
the difference, is they're giving away these football games in multiple phases. I have no issue with how their defense is playing. I will not complain about it. I don't care. The offense is giving away points, and there are multiple people to blame for that. And the special teams is a net negative now 3 out of 4 weeks. And I think if they don't get the fortune of having the kick blocked, which they earned that, I don't want to take that away from them, but the special teams, I broke it down Friday, it was neutral at best against the Packers, who should have also blocked a kick in that game. It just somehow, by the miracle of physics, the football fit through like 3 different arms up at the time that the ball was kicked. It was bad left side blocking. So that's it, man. They're giving football. It's hard. And that's the point of what I open game notes with it. If you care to read it in about an hour when I finish writing it, is like, they're giving it. It's hard to win week to week in the NFL, no matter what. It's hard. You give away possessions, you give free touchdowns, you give short fields, you're not winning games. It's a pathway to 3-win seasons. And that is the pathway they're on, despite the cool outcome last week, right? Because that's not sustainable. You can't sustain that. They have to do the little things so much better.
And it's interesting. I'm looking at the chat and A to Z Crypto writing, stop pretending they have a chance. They have to play perfect to win. I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think that's the case at all.
Right.
They just have to stop doing
stop turning the ball over.
Back-breaking turnovers Yeah, and even then they still hung around. Even with 2 bad turnovers where it should be a 10-7 game and a half, and like to your point, and I went and checked it. Yeah, so it was 20 to 10. The Browns had kicked a field goal when Judy drops what should have been 7 points, right? And then they turn around and punt on the next play, and that's returned for a touchdown. So you talk about like swinging points of momentum, and the way the game goes is you manage it through special teams, complementary football. These things, I mean, this was the opposite of complementary football. I mean, you are dropping passes, you're turning the ball over, you're putting your defense in bad spots, and you're giving up 7 on a punt. You have no business giving up 7 points on a punt. These things just can't happen. Winning teams don't let them happen. Yeah, they beat themselves again, and it's the blueprint we've been talking about.
They're not even turnovers that are like they're Browns mistake
forced
turnovers.
Yeah, they're not forced turnovers. They're not somebody coming and punching the ball out or anything like that.
Flacco did say the first pick was on me. I thought he was going. I was in the wrong, not Tillman. Flacco has confirmed that.
Okay.
So he's just. Yeah, I don't know. And maybe Joe is doing the thing where a veteran takes it. Yeah, falls on the sword. I don't know, but that is Kevin's presser is the same story. But they got to make more winning plays. If they don't make more winning plays and they keep making these losing plays, about 8 to 10 losing plays in this game, big drops, poor throws, missed blocks, then they're gonna make things uncomfortable for what the future of everything looks like here. That's their choice, right? That's their choice. So, yeah, they have got to stop beating themselves.
Yeah, that's 100% it. And we're going to dive into it in a ton of more detail this game, obviously, the next couple days and what all went wrong here. But big picture, they got to win one of the next 2.
Yeah, you would like to get a second win before week 6. Right. That's the crux of it. I agree.
And I think that after watching those 2 play this morning, I think that they're both winnable games. Now, going to Pittsburgh is its own story, but winnable game against Minnesota next week, winnable game in Pittsburgh if you think you can get that monkey off your back. But that is where they are. As an overarching, if you could get out of this thing 2-4 and stop beating yourself, you would have a chance to win some games and get into a competitive place this season where you could play some competitive football. It would be interesting to get there at 2-4 and see what they do at the quarterback position. See what changes there. Maybe you get a bump in offensive production. I don't know. You know what I mean? But it would be interesting to see them get there in a competitive nature. So I really would like to see them just get one of these next 2, where I think would be huge to come out of this thing 2-4.
Play clean football, man. Maybe don't beat yourself. That would certainly be the MO if you're gonna make mistakes.
It's a really good Lions team.
Let the other team make the plays that actually force the issues, not just throwing it up the sideline for no reason, miscommunication, maybe not punting it low and shallow up the sideline would be a good outcome, right? There's plenty of things here. This isn't all bad. We can share this too, put some of the statistics from the game up as well. So it's like I said, it's not all bad. The yardage stuff was pretty clean. 16 first downs apiece, held the Lions to 277. Imagine that's easily their lowest output of the season.
Might
Browns
be all
go
season.
For 249, run 10 more plays. The Lions gain 1 more yard per play, but that's sort of whatever. It's not a big deal. Similar passing outcome. I mean, this is the spot right here. This category right here. Turnovers 3-1. That's it. Browns had to punt 2 more times and turned it over, multiple more times, including the punt return touchdown, and then obviously the field goal miss as well. But that was a deep kick. I thought Judkins played well. They're not running anybody else, that's for certain. 21 for 82 and a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs 15 for 91. A couple chunk runs were the difference there for Gibbs. Runs that we tried to highlight, Penn Pool, right? So, those are the that's the status of those runs that they popped. But otherwise, they held the run game down by down. I thought they did a pretty good job defending it. Montgomery goes 9 for 12. Flacco's 16 of 34, 182. He was pressured all game. I've already posted it. Both tackles combined for it's going to be something like 17 pressures in this game.
Dude,
I need to. There's one thing I'm gonna, and there are things to be upset with the front office, or not, excuse me, the coaching staff about. It was pretty clear early that Cornelius Lucas could not handle Aiden Hutchinson off the edge.
1,000%.
And they didn't really have any change up for that to give him help. So
where's the help?
I got to look into that. I don't know. I don't want to say they gave him help on 10%, 20%, 30%. There's a lot of snaps there, but every time I saw an immediate loss that led to how many sacks did Hutchinson have in this game? It does. He has 2 on record sacks. I think there was another one that they got called back on for defensive holding as well. So I think it's a concerning thing that there wasn't more help on the right side, because I understand Lucas is a swing tackle backup player. I understand they're fighting the battle of offensive tackle injuries between their first 2 guys being hurt again. But if there was no plan to help them, and it's not like they haven't done that in the past, then it's troubling, because he was turning the corner fast, creating chaos way too quick. And again, it wasn't something that came out of nowhere. He was beating Lucas early and often. So we'll look it up. We'll try to solve it. But Goff only goes 16 of 27, 168, couple touchdowns, kind of, cheap touchdowns, but
they didn't play well. Like the Lions did not play well. The Browns, they did not play their best game. They did not look dominant in any shape or form, I didn't think. Once again, the Browns made them look like a team that was beatable, but they just gave the game away. They just gave the game away. Self-inflicted wounds. On probably 4 major ones that cost you the game, but also little things in between, drops, falling down, this play, that play that could have been converted that weren't. They've just got to be better in all the little things on a play-to-play basis, and stop beating yourself, because the defense is making other teams look pedestrian or look beatable. And this is what you have here again, another example of it, where the defense could have kept you in the game and given you a chance, but the offense is doing things that
offense stinks. I mean, to be clear here, they're not scoring. Their margin for error is bad, but also, if you know who Joe Flacco is, or Dylan Gabriel's not some heroic creator out of structure, they knew who everyone, even Kenny Pickett, was coming into the year. You knew this. This is not a secret. So you had to block really well and find time to create downfield opportunities or quicker schemes and solutions. And they're not doing it. They're not doing it. They're not getting those answers. And that's player driven. That's coach driven. But the offense is bad. It's going to be among the league's worst again. They are running it a little better. Fine. That's good. I'm fine with that. But they are not completing. And again, if they complete the ball to Judy, if they complete the ball to Fannin, there's definitely more yardage than what's on the board here, but there's not an ability to find solutions drive to drive right now. They get one false starter, they get one holder, they take 1 6-yard sack. Yep. It's hard for them to overcome in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, man, I don't know. This is what I do know, without trying to get into the weeds in the post-game show where everyone's emotional, is that it's just not good enough. And I know Kevin says that, and it's what, but eventually it's either gets better or it's going to cost people an opportunity to stick long term.
Yeah,
that's it, right? It's going to be a bad offense all year. We knew that. We thought that. The quarterback told us that, right? The decision they made there. So it's not something that is going to they're going to turn it around and be a top 10 offense by the end of the year. That's not the case here. But there's a fight to get to average that I thought was very attainable inside the top 20. And what they're doing down to down is hurting themselves in such a way that you can't even dig yourself out of the hole. The first drive was a good example of what you can do, right? They hit some downfield shot throws, had some nice plays come together. It's an example of what they need to be, but the nature of it is it's still the margin for error. If you miss one block, you make one throw miscalculation. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. No one's pretending this is a good football team, and there's nobody pretending they're not playing for really good teams to start the year. I don't care what you say about the Bengals coming into the year with Joe Burrow healthy. That was a team expected to contend for the division and be a serious playoff team, right? So say what you want, but they have played 4 very good, 3 straight Super Bowl contending teams.
Yeah.
Right off the rip in the last 3 weeks. And the Bengals are a fringe playoff contender, real football team. They played 4 good ones. Don't make any mistake about it. But there's also no mistake that this Browns team was not expected to be good. So there were going to be growing pains. There were going to be things in the early portions of the season that were going to be frustrating. We knew that. So at least people with realistic expectations knew that. But the things we've been trying to talk about are creating an average offense, leaning into a stellar defense, playing smart around the margins, right? Taking advantage of fumbles and interceptable throws from the other team, playing quality special teams. Those are the basic expectations. That's it. That's it, man. No one thinks this is the 99 Rams, all right? But expecting them to creep toward 20th in the league, expecting the defense to be really good, which has happened, and create turnovers, not really going at them about it, but the creation of turnovers hasn't happened in the way you would hope. But the defense has been good enough, so throw them out. But the expectation for the offense, the expectation for where what the special teams would be, it's not there. So that's the thing that leaves me the most annoyed with the whole thing is that they are handing football games via turnover, via special teams to the opposition, and have made these games that are already challenging enough games that they basically laid out the red carpet for the opposition to handle comfortably. So
yeah,
that's where we're at.
That is where we are at. Personally, I think that, in coming into the season and not knowing exactly what the Browns team would be, Jake, I think that there is more potential there than maybe we realized, like with the ability of the rookies to contribute. They just have to stop doing this, right? Like, you have to give yourself a chance to generate drives that you can extend and hit a big play here or there, but along with the not beating yourself, which keeps you in the game, you need your playmakers to make plays. I mean, the Jeudy thing has got to be real. I mean, he's got to catch the ball. He's dropped.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times? Going back to the Bengals game where he drops it on 4th and 3 on a slant, right in his belly. Tillman has not been great. And then today, just that drop, I just don't understand why he can't come down with that and run towards the end zone.
I mean, those are the plays that make or break a game. There's usually 5 to 8 of them in an NFL game that define the game's outcome. That's it. Did they make those plays today? No. And I wouldn't even say the outcomes were net neutral. Most of them were giving the Lions something really, really positive off of it, right? Jeudy had 3 catches on 9 targets for 48 yards. I thought guys who were the real winners of the day, I thought Judkins played extremely well. He thought he caught the ball well out of the backfield, some well-timed screens. Fannin was okay, not his best game. I still expect there to be serious learning curves for rookie tight ends. The blocking stuff is inconsistent, not good enough at times. He dropped a throw he should have caught. He also had a couple really nice run after catch efforts as well. So there's certainly that. As far as like we said, Isaiah Bond, I thought played some winning football today. The offensive line, I thought Batonio was good once again for most of the game. But your tackles, your quarterback didn't play well, and your leading receiver. That's it. That'll beat you on offense, right? And then if you look at the defense, I don't have any issue with really how anybody played on that side of the ball. We'll look at the tape, we'll try to solve some of it, but you have those struggles on offense, hand the football to the other team in the punt stuff, and then you're all of a sudden, it's 27-10. That's interesting. and the game's sort of over, right? So
yeah,
it's not as bad as it looks. It's not as you're not trying to sugarcoat everything. It's still not fun. The offense is not fun, but the scoreboard definitely indicates a game that was like some blowout throughout. And it's like, no, man, this was relatively close to late in the third quarter, and then they handed it away again. So
and should have been closer if you just play straight up football in the first half and don't have the two interceptions, right?
Bingo.
So to Freddie B's point, defense gave up 10 points. That's crazy.
I mean, the first drive, to the Lions' credit, was a nice drive. So they get a touchdown, and when there's another field goal there before half where it's just like a 2-minute. They hit a nice seam ball to Laporta. Yeah, they gave up really 10 points. And another time they had a short field turnover that they held them to 3. The first Bates field goal. So you're expecting the world out of that, and it's like it's different than your offense stinking, which is possible, but they punt it and they give your defense a chance to have the full field to defend. When you're giving them the short field so often, and then you're ultimately just handing them points via turnovers that end up inside the 5 and punts that, you end up being returned for touchdowns. It's not even a defense issue at that point. Anyway, a couple things out the door, because I feel like we're just going to say the same things over and over again. They either want to stop doing this shit where they hand the game to the other team, or they won't, and they'll just keep doing it. And keep doing it and keep driving everybody insane, and maybe ultimately end up costing people jobs. Because if you can't stop doing those things, you can't stop making those plays, those incorrect plays, those failing to make the winning play, then you're not, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna struggle week to week. Hickman had 9 tackles. Devin Bush had 8. Schlesinger had 8. They didn't get a sack on the game, but boy, they were all over him.
Yeah.
For the most part throughout. And Goff did a good job of just like, and some of this is innate, some of it's luck, where he just kind of got the football out at the final moment, just before a sack from Miles or something. We'll look at pressure rate numbers and stuff like that. Again, make winning plays. Stop making losing plays, and let a team actually beat you instead of handing the football game away. That would be lovely to watch. Clean games, no turnovers. Can they have one of those? That'd be fun, right? That'd be fun. Until then, they travel, they hop on a plane, they're flying way overseas. So get yourself ready for a 9:30 kick next week, right? Get yourself ready. It's going to be early. We'll see if they make any drastic moves. It'll be a tough week to make a drastic move considering what the Vikings defense does, but that's what's looming.
Maybe back. Can we hope for that?
Is it worth hoping for at this point? I mean, it's like I don't have any.
I think it's worth hoping for when you consider how bad Lucas was today. But I don't know. Just trying. I'm trying to. I don't know. We'll see what happens this week, but it's a very winnable game, I think. Yeah,
we'll see. Until then, that's it for today, man. We are going to continue to talk about the Browns handing football games away. We'll see if they ever want to stop doing that, making life hard on themselves as they possibly can. We will be here to cover all of it the rest of the week. Look at the film, break down what happened on both sides of the ball, full film rooms as we do. And we'll keep you in tune with what ramifications come from this game, both injuries and personnel, in the coming days. They got a big opportunity. I think Carson Wentz and the Vikings offense is not very good. A very beatable team. We'll see. We'll see how they rise up in the moment. Okay. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate you much. And I will catch you guys soon. We'll catch you soon. Until then, we continue to say, go Browns.